We believe that in a world facing more challenges than ever, today's economy and society are forced to change, and that entrepreneurship will play a crucial role in this transformation, just like women. For us, entrepreneurship is not necessarily about starting or running a business. It's a state of mind, a principle of life, an approach to dealing with problems. Yeah, these sentences are coming from the Female Founder platform in Austria. And fortunately, today, our guest speaker is co-founder and CEO of this platform, Lisa Maria Fassl. Hey guys, and welcome, dear Lisa. It's awesome to have you in the weekly series of our FemTalk event. And I'm pretty sure our audience also is excited to hear some details of Austrian ecosystem, about the female founder platform, about your experience. So, yeah, can you hear us?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. It's actually my first time in Azerbaijan, and I hope that I can say that it's my first time there, although I'm still sitting here in Vienna. But I would love to meet you personally at one point because it's very high on my travel bucket list.
Thank you. By the way, it's great to hear that it's your first time. We hope that it will continue. In a big, more bigger events, we can meet together again. And please, can you give information about your platform, about yourself to our audience?
Sure. Please interrupt me anytime if you feel like you have questions or I should dive deeper into something. And also, please interrupt me when I just talk too much, which happens quite frequently. So
Okay.
maybe we're gonna start with female founders first. So business first. We started in 2016 because background of my co-founder and myself really is in the startup ecosystem on an Austrian level, but also on a European level. So my co-founder Nina worked at one of the biggest early stage VC funds in Europe. So she's really coming from this investment perspective. And my sort of direct background is the biggest network for angel investors in Austria. So we're both coming from the ecosystem. And no matter where you looked at the ecosystem back in 2016, when Female Founders was started, it was basically guys all around. So hardly any women going to events, connecting with each other, starting companies, or working somewhere in the startup ecosystem. And we thought, okay, well, that is weird because when we talk about startups, we talk about innovation and we talk about the future and we talk about technology. And we always felt like, okay, so we're doing things differently, we're thinking differently, but why is it still the same set of people creating all this cool stuff and creating our future? Why is it again mostly, well, white guys creating technologies that we're all using? Where's the female perspective and why are there so little women? And so we sort of by accident started Female Founders because we knew we wanted to do something, but as it is when you're having real jobs and being fully engaged, it's sometimes hard to find motivation to actually start an additional project. And I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a Friday evening, and I think it was almost 5 years ago, where a local Austrian newspaper, a really big one, called and they were like, hey guys, I heard you're doing a network for female entrepreneurs in Austria. Can we feature you? And when's your next event? And we were like, okay, seems like now we're gaining some traction before we even started. So we should probably do something. And within 48 hours, we had this amazing feature in this big newspaper. We set up the first event, had already some applications and started to promote it. And 2 weeks later, 50 women showed up to meet and talk about entrepreneurship. And we thought, okay, this is cool. Apparently there are some target customers out there. So this seems to work. And moving fast forward, the past 5 years have been crazy for us because as mentioned, it was a hobby. So Female Founders really happened by accident. And it was just something that we did on the side because we felt that we need to do it. And I think it was March last year, my co-founder Nina and I decided, okay, now we're going to give this a try. We want to see where Female Founders can go, how big this can become, and if it can really be this very European thing that we've always imagined it would be. And so we started working full-time on female founders in March 2020, which was, as we know, not the best point in time, because Corona hit and everything just, went crazy with the whole situation. But in retrospect, I really have to say that it probably was the best thing that could have happened, because when a big crisis hits you, you're forced to do something and change something. And for us, this was the moment where we were luckily brave enough to actually ditch everything that we had and just start from scratch and redesign everything that we had, our accelerator programs, our events, etc. And moving fast forward, and now being here in March 2021, we're a team of 12 people based in Vienna. So the team has grown quite a lot, because in the beginning of last year, we were only 4 people, not working full-time, but more like part-time on the organization. And now we're really this big team that is making an impact. So we're pretty excited how things are turning out. And to sum this up, what are we doing right now? And I think that's just completely normal. When you're starting a company, you feel like you need to do this and this and this, and you see opportunities everywhere. And you just want to make everyone happy, right? And for us, the past 12 months were really about losing focus, doing everything and being super opportunistic. And now it seems like we found our focus again. And so we're now focusing on 2 main problems in the tech and innovation ecosystem, which is female talent on the one hand side, and giving female talent the access to the tech and innovation industry. And the second thing is funding for female adventures, which is somehow connected to our background, and something where we just see that there's just way too little money being invested in not only all female teams, but also in diverse teams. Because when we look at European venture funding, it's more than 90% going to all male teams. And this is just disproportional. Yeah, so that's the female founders background. And I think you also wanted to know something about my background, right?
Yeah, it will be great to hear some of the details of your from your background, and it will be interesting to our audience that which kind of background they need to launch this kind of platform. Yeah.
Very good question. So honestly speaking, when I was 18 finishing school, I was a completely different person. So I was super shy, and I definitely never was the person that was like, hey, I know the answer, please pick me. Although I knew the answer, but I was just way too shy and didn't have any confidence, to be honest. And I would have never expected myself to to actually do the things that I'm doing right now. Running this organization, and I also have the honor of being part of the startup committee of the Austrian government, and I'm also doing some consulting for big cities and cool projects, etc. And I have the honor of working with some of the most talented people on this planet, and some of the coolest people that are creating the future. So I would have really never expected this. And I just sometimes feel extremely grateful, and then I'm thinking like, okay, is this really me? And how can one person be so lucky to do these cool things? But at the end of the day, for me, and this is why Female Founders is focused on this entrepreneurial mindset, this whole topic of entrepreneurship was just a game changer. Because when I started university, I always wanted to become a management consultant. So I wanted to work at BCG, McKinsey, whatever big name, and having this lifestyle of traveling and doing some consulting work with different companies, etc. And I didn't know why I wanted to do this. It was just because of the lifestyle, I think. And then I met some people organizing a startup event back in 2012, and I felt like, okay, these startup people are actually quite cool. They are so motivated, they are passionate, they think that they can have an impact, and they're just working day and night, and they are happy while doing so much and being so enthusiastic about things. And I thought, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to be like them. I just want to live that kind of life where I do something, where I enjoy this, and where I feel I have an impact. I mean, what better way of life can you choose? And then I got sort of stuck with the startup ecosystem. And I think when I look back at my career, and I don't feel comfortable with the word career, because, and this is probably something that is especially true for women. I sometimes really feel that when I tell my story, it feels like just crazy. And I don't want to be that kind of person that is sort of bragging and being like, hey, I'm so awesome, I've done that many things. But at the end of the day, it's a combination of hard work, finding the things that you like, passion, being open to opportunities and networking, which are, in my opinion, the most essential things. And sort of them, you just see the opportunities and then you can decide, do I take them or don't I take them? And in the beginning, you will just do a lot of not so cool things, probably. And in retrospect, you might think, okay, why did I do this? But at the end of the day, everything that we do brings us one step further in a positive or negative way, but most times in a positive way.
Thank you, and I think that most of the like founders or who start to any like any job, any position, the main motivation is that they're like feeling yourself in the another's place, like that they are happy, and you would like to be also in this like community. I think that one of the main motivation, one of the main which encourage the people to start to their business, to start their startup, is that the, like this cool community, like also it's yeah. And I would like to ask about the during this process, what kind of reactions you have met?
Yeah, I have to laugh because and I think this happens to quite a lot of people, whatever company you're starting. When we started Female Founders, the first feedback that we got from the startup ecosystem and from people that had known us for years and that had known our work and how we think and how we do things, mostly guys, actually only guys, they were like, well, yeah, enjoy doing this. You're going to do one event and then you're going to realize that hosting events is work. And we were like, no shit. Really? Hosting events is work? Please tell me more about that. Who would have expected? And it was really some interesting feedback that we got. So no one actually believed that something big would come out of Female Founders. And I think hardly anyone believed that this could at one point really become a pan-European initiative and not only an Austrian thing. And I think before my co-founder and I committed full-time to Female Founders, a lot of people, and also during the course of last year, a lot of people just thought, yeah, this is a nice event organization, NGO, whatever. They are doing events and that's it. And hardly anyone, especially here in Austria, realized that this is now a team of 12 people running 2 accelerator programs, being awarded from international organizations. And honestly speaking, this was sometimes hard, sort of being the preacher in your own country and telling people that you're doing cool things and not being recognized for the things that you're doing. This was frustrating to some extent, but we got so much positive feedback. And I think the most rewarding part, and this is something that I think you're realizing quite early, the most rewarding thing is actually when your customers, and in our case, that's startups participating in our accelerator or people participating in our events, when they are sending you kind messages, telling you what difference you actually made in their life. And I think that's also one of the core motivations for Female Founders. And we sort of had to also learn this, that this is actually what it's all about, creating value for your target audience and for the people that you want to work with, and not, you know, depending or relying on feedback that someone from the ecosystem that you would regard as important because someone else tells you that these people are important would give you. Yeah. So that's some of the things that we encountered. But generally, also one thing, and I think it's related to this female topic. So we see that a lot of established companies, startups, scale-ups, people in the ecosystem talk about why support for female entrepreneurs is so important. But we also learned that a lot of people just say it because they feel that it's fancy to say this and that it's on vogue and that it's something that you do, and that's just zeitgeist. But there are a lot of people who actually also feel like, yeah, okay, you just say it and then that's sort of done, and they don't realize that this is a commitment, and doing something and really having an impact also is an investment in terms of resources, talking about time and money. And I think we're seeing some changes here in the ecosystem so that people are realizing, okay, if you want to do something, if you want to change something and take this serious, you need to invest.
Actually, you answered some of them, but deeply, I would like to know that what were some of the main challenges that you encountered on your professional way?
Maybe I would sort of split this in things that are more related to the company itself, so more on the like personal and Lisa side. So I would say as a business, it's definitely, finding talent that also wants to work with you in delivering this idea, because in the beginning, and we can be honest about this, you just can't pay the salaries that other organizations are paying. So you're really relying on people that trust you, believe in what you're doing, share this vision, and are super committed and hardworking. And yes, the people that we work with, they are working a lot. And they're doing this because of a very intrinsic motivation that they're having. So I think this talent topic is one of the things. Funding, of course, especially for this topic. And as a woman in this business, you're still sort of exotic in the startup ecosystem. So definitely this. And then also, as mentioned in, I think, the first question, really the challenge of not losing focus and really sticking to the strategy that you've set yourself. Because I think when you're part of the startup ecosystem, you're sort of familiar with, changing things fast and seeing opportunities and doing cool things and changing your plans and just jumping on the next thing. But sometimes it's really hard to keep focus and to really ask yourself, does this contribute to the vision or to the mission that we've set ourselves? So I think these were some of the toughest things. And of course, the past 12 months have been extremely tough for everyone. And for us, I think one of the worst moments in my professional career so far really was about a year ago. I think it was March 12th, because I just looked it up in my diary, because I'm keeping a 5 lines a day diary, which I can really recommend to everyone, because it's just so nice to see what you've been thinking about a year ago and the year before that. And on March 12th, 2020, I wrote down, okay, today we were at the office and we told the team, please grab your stuff. We don't know when we're going to see each other again. Make sure that you're bringing everything to your home. We also recommend leaving Vienna, going to the countryside, because we just don't know what's going to happen with this weird situation. And never before in my life, I felt uncertainty. And then again, I remembered from the very first semester of studying business administration, what the difference between uncertainty and risk is, to be honest. And it was just the worst, when you just don't know what's going to happen and you want to take responsibility, but you just can't, because you don't know what's going to happen and no one knows. So I think that was really bad. And dealing with this on a professional and also on a personal and mental level was pretty challenging the past 12 months, because as a leader and CEO and founder, you not only have to deal with sort of your personal issues, but you're also committed to the team and you want to make sure that they are happy and excited and that they are safe. So you're also taking a lot of mental stuff from them and trying to support them. So I think that was an interesting learning opportunity, let's put it this way. And as weird as it sounds, something that I don't want to miss, because I think the companies and the founders and the leaders that sort of survived the past 12 months of this crisis are coming back stronger than ever before. And I think when you've made it through this, you're just prepared for a lot of other things to come. And I can tell you, starting a company and when you're running a company, there are a lot of good and bad things coming. And sometimes it feels that it's more bad things. And usually it always hits you like 1 or 2 days a week. And then you're just, okay, good. What else can come? But you get used to this level of not cool things happening, and you grow with your challenges, definitely.
And during this process, who was your supporter from? If you talk about the platform, which kind of companies support you? Which kind of companies are your partners during this process?
Yeah. So again, very good one. So we are lucky enough, as we started as this NGO running events, that we've had one corporate partner who's basically been supporting us from the very first minute, because there was one woman in a management position. She was like, it's so cool what you're doing. You are such cool people. We need to support you. They are still customers of ours. And we're pretty excited about this, because summing all those things up, they've probably invested a nice 6-digit sum into what we're doing. So I think that was pretty important. Then some public organizations, definitely, who said, okay, for us as public organization on a national and city level, it's important that we foster female entrepreneurship specifically, because we think that women are good founders and that women are good leaders. So we need to do something about this. So I would definitely say from a companies or organizations perspective, those organizations and companies. And of course, on a more personal level, there are several people from the startup ecosystem that were just extremely supportive in terms of really helping us with our strategy, giving us intros, connecting us to important people, and also supporting us on a personal level and just sharing knowledge. And I think that's one of the biggest recommendations. Get feedback, talk to people, tell them about your challenges, about your doubts, and just get their feedback, because sometimes as a founder, I feel that you're very much focused on your company and yourself. And especially as a female founder, I have the impression that you're sort of trained on fixing everything on your own and not speaking up and being like, hey, please, I need help. But there's really no harm done in asking for help, because this is what makes you better and what gives you new ideas and was actually inspiring. So I would say that's the most important things. Yeah.
And you're one of the female founder also, and as female founder of a female founder platform, what is the being a female founder in your term?
So what's a female founder? So I think something that is pretty different when we talk about female founders compared to male founders. And actually, I really hate stereotypes, to be honest, but this is something that we're seeing with a lot of companies. Female founders are really, really well prepared. They are smart. They have amazing skills. They mostly, a lot of them actually come out of university, having cool, having really cool, have a lot of experience, have been working besides their studies, are really good in managing people, but they're really lacking confidence and trust in themselves, which is just sad, because I think this is coming from socialization and education, but there's actually no need in being shy and not being confident, because I would definitely say that most of the people that we're working with are way better, sophisticated, and just more passionate and professional when it comes to building companies than most of the average founders that we're seeing. Definitely. So there's really no need to sort of be too shy or too modest or whatever, because women are just just really, really good founders and actually bring everything to the table to make companies successful. And a lot of studies actually show that female leaders make a difference and that they have an impact and that they're generating more revenue and that they're growing the more profitable companies. So I think all of us, including myself, we just need to be more confident and really speak up for ourselves and be there and convince people and tell them why it's amazing what we're doing.
Thank you. And in your term, what do you think about that? Should anyone have a specific background for being a founder?
I think there's different opinion to this. I think, nope, you don't need a specific background. It's really a question of mindset. So are you someone who is passionate about something, who wants to do something, who wants to contribute in hopefully positive way to this world? Are you someone who is creative and wants to get stuff done? And also, are you willing to work hard? Because starting a company is nothing that you do as a side hustle, as we've also had to learn ourselves. So it's really something that is taking a lot of dedication, a lot of focus, and a lot of commitment. And it's not a commitment for half a year or 1 year, it's a commitment for a couple of years at least. So I think you need to be clear about this. And also in terms of mindset, I think it's important to have this growth mindset that is now being talked about everywhere, where it's about identifying challenges, but then really switching super fast to this mode of, okay, I'm going to solve this challenge. I'm going to solve this problem. So I think you really need to be a problem solver and make sure that you're seeing the opportunities. And should be open to talk to other people, tell them about your ideas. But I think it's mostly summarized with mindset and being someone who is open to do new things and to grow on many different levels, and also to learn some stuff, because also entrepreneurship, I think it's a continuous learning process, because as mentioned, you will encounter so many challenges along the way, and then it's just a matter of how are you dealing with this. And at the end of the day, as the founder, as the CEO, you're the person who is in charge of solving most of the things, no matter if it's, you know, solving a strategy problem and redesigning all of this, or creating a fancy spreadsheet regarding your financials, or if it's like the basic things like making sure that there is enough toilet paper in your restroom. So it's really from A to Z, everything. And I think you also need to be someone who likes doing all of this hands-on and not be too shy to do something.
Thank you. And actually, you have most probably you have some alumni from the female founder platform. And could you talk about the one, two stories of your alumni?
So generally, or to specify this a bit, so we have these two accelerator programs, right? One of them is focused on startups, and we help them to become investment ready in a 3-month program, fully digital, and we work with top-notch VCs from across the continent, actually. The other one is more focused on personal development and leadership, and I think I'm going to focus on the startup accelerator now. So we've been running this accelerator for 3 years now. So we're now in the scouting phase for the 5th batch. We've seen a tremendous increase in quality and in quantity on both the startup side and also the speaker side. And I would, or just some general numbers first. So the 29 companies that we've had in the first 3 batches, and I don't have the latest numbers, so I can only talk about the first 3 batches, secured more than 7 million euros in funding. Which is pretty cool. And they've created more than 200 jobs. So we're really seeing some cool traction there. And personally, as I'm someone who is really interested in companies that are bringing something good to this world, I think I would highlight one health tech company that I like quite a lot. It's an Austrian company, which is rather rare when we look at our portfolio, because nowadays it's mostly companies coming from all over Europe, Africa, and we also see a lot of applications coming in from Asia these days. This one company is Austrian, and they are analyzing gut bacteria. And so what they're doing is they're sending you a test kit that you then send to a lab, and then you get an information on your health status. And I think this is such an interesting company. I mean, still, I think they need to do some things in order to, as it is with startups, to work on business model, etc. But I think what they're doing really nice is they're addressing a topic that is extremely relevant, and that is sort of a taboo topic, because no one's talking about poop, right? And no one's talking about analyzing this and how we feel. So they are bringing the conversation to a topic that is just essential and that we should care about. And also they're combining this with technology and making technology accessible. So I think this is something that is really, really cool. They're doing really well. They've secured several million euros in public and private funding. So they are really, really good. And I think the founder, I think she also just had a baby or is having a baby. So she's also a very good role model, in my opinion. The other company is something completely different. And it's something that you would probably regard as a classic female company, because what they're doing, they're called Fassl. They are a German-based company, and they are offering a second-hand shop for handbags. So it's fully digital, and it's not for the random handbags that you would get in every corner shop, but it's really luxury handbags. So really, really expensive bags, where I was just like, who is buying bags for that amount of money? But apparently people are. And you could say, okay, this is a super capitalistic approach, but, and this is what I like about them, they actually really focus on this topic of sustainability and making sure that things are being reused and not being produced on a constant basis. And they're showing amazing KPIs. So they're performing really, really well, so that even investors who are only focusing on deep tech companies, so really IP-driven companies, are having a look at them because they're just so successful at what they are doing. And I think these are some super diverse examples, or super different examples that I picked, but this just shows how much variety there actually is in the space of female entrepreneurship, because you can find female entrepreneurs everywhere. And everyone who is telling me, I'm sorry, we are VC fund, we can't find any female entrepreneurs, I'm just like, you just need to look. You just need to have open eyes, because they are out there, and or we are out there, and we're definitely coming also for the big money.
Yeah, and actually, this kind of stories motivate people, and know, and generally, it's clear that which kind of process companies are going, and generally, in what is the current status at the supply demand curve of male founder platform? I mean, after coronavirus, is there any impact to the platform? This kind of things.
So I think Corona impacted us positively, as already mentioned, as a team. but also when I look at the companies that are being founded. So I have the impression that especially a lot of women are thinking, okay, what should I do with my life? What makes sense? What's my purpose? What do I want to do, and where can I have a lot of impact? And so a lot of women actually start about thinking starting companies. And now, as everything is uncertain, they are really also making the step towards funding their companies. So I think that's a rather positive development, to be honest. And I think we will see way more supply in that sense, in terms of cool companies coming in and being created. So I'm very certain about this. We also see that there is a lot of money in the market. It's just insane how much money is currently being invested in companies of all stages. And this is one of the next projects that we're actually working on, making sure that this funding is also available for female entrepreneurs, so that it's not only the big supply in terms of female-led companies, but that's also a big supply in money, and that's just about matching them.
And guys, for people who joined us just now, we are talking with Lisa Maria Fassl, who is the co-founder and CEO of Female Founder platform in Austria, and we are talking about her platform, generally her experience, and we will touch the point about the Austrian ecosystem. Now, what about the Austrian startup ecosystem? What are the characteristics of it, and is there a prepared environment for females, or you need you're even know you're supported from the Europe, you have some support from the Europe. What is the general situation in Austria?
Very good one. So I'm just looking out of the window and it's snowing and it's just amazing. Thanks, winter is coming back. So what's the status of the ecosystem? So I would say that the Austrian startup ecosystem has developed a lot in the past 9 years that I had the pleasure of being part of it. I still think that we need to do a lot as an ecosystem, but also in terms of structural redesigns. So setting up a company is not as easy in Austria as it could be. It's rather expensive. It takes a lot of time. It's not easy to actually give employees stock options to your company. So these are some of the things that we are working at. And I have to say, I'm now raising political points because I'm a very political person, not being active in any political party, but I'm part of the startup committee of the Austrian government, as mentioned, for everyone who's just tuning in. And we're having a lot of discussions on what can we do to improve the situation and the conditions for startups in Austria, because we feel that there's so much potential, that so much amazing talent, so many smart people, you know, finishing school, coming out of university, that could have an impact and could do something. And I really want to make sure that people can actually be here, live happy lives here, and also create companies if they want, and they don't need to move to Berlin or move to the Silicon Valley or whatever. So I think there's a lot that could be done here. Plus Austria is, I love Austria, I have to say, and I love Vienna. It's a city of 2 million people. And it's super safe and it's super nice. It's just a really cool place to be. And I think also for female entrepreneurs, so our founders always loved being in Vienna because they just felt so comfy, safe, and home. And it's, yeah, it has a reason why Vienna has been the most livable city for I don't know how many consecutive years now. So there's a reason to this. But, and here comes the but, I think the mindset in Austria is not very entrepreneurial. So this is also something that we should definitely change. And when we talk about a change of mindset, we're talking about changing education and changing, the mindset of people and how they think about entrepreneurship. Because I feel quite often in Austria, being an entrepreneur is something bad because you're the kind of person that is treating your employees in a bad way, that is not paying any taxes, etc. And this perception of entrepreneurs just needs to change, because otherwise it's just not cool to become an entrepreneur, because everyone is telling you you're the bad person, you're doing this and this and this wrong, and it's just not very entrepreneurial, not very friendly for entrepreneurs, unfortunately. So that's something. But other than that, as mentioned, Vienna is a great place, and I think the city is investing a lot of money actually in making it an even better place for entrepreneurship, and especially for female entrepreneurs.
That's great, guys, girls, ladies. You hear the and what about the are you planning somehow connected with Azerbaijan startup ecosystem, or I mean there's some mutual events or some investments stuffs. So
we would love to. The good thing is now things are happening digitally. We are open to basically work with everyone, from everyone. We've until now had quite a big focus on Europe. The question is, what's the definition of Europe? As I'm a big fan of Eurovision Song Contest, and as Azerbaijan is participating there, I think we definitely need to find some synergies, because you always also have very good contributions to the Eurovision Song Contest, not like Austria, but that's a different story. And we're currently really exploring opportunities on how we can be even more international and where we want to be active. So one concrete thing that we're talking about now is being more active in this cross-continent cooperation with Africa, especially with Nigeria and Southern Africa. And we're also thinking about in every other direction on this globe, because we just see that female entrepreneurship is actually, or needs to be supported everywhere across this planet, because there's no equality in entrepreneurship anywhere, and no equality in terms of access to technology and in terms of creating technology. So we're definitely open to be more active in Azerbaijan. And as mentioned in the beginning, I would love to go there because I've heard so many things, I've seen pictures, and I just love exploring new opportunities, new countries, new people. And actually, one former member at the Angel Investment Association was super interested in connecting Austria and Azerbaijan. So I think there's definitely some interesting opportunities. Yeah, so happy to come anytime.
yeah, and great to have you in Azerbaijan, like doing some mutual events or something together, some programs together. And if you have any think like if you think about the coming, please let me know, and it will be great to have you. And what are the future perspectives of the female founder platform? Maybe actually, maybe you have some plans after the COVID-19 and after the pandemic. What are the main plans for the future?
Also very good one. I'm having a strategy meeting coming up with my co-founder to actually discuss this, what we're going to focus on, and streamline the many opportunities that we're seeing. But as you mentioned in the beginning, our vision is to have an impact on economy and society. And I think we're already making an impact, but we're not making the impact, or we're not having big enough of an impact, and we're not making the impact fast enough. So for us, it's definitely about growing, offering more programs, being more active, also outside of Europe, and really spreading this message of why supporting women in technology and innovation in general, and especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, is so important. And generally, I think we will see way more female entrepreneurs coming up, and we will hopefully see more women starting to invest as angel investors, but also working in venture capital funds and really helping those good female entrepreneurs to get funding and to become the next unicorns, if they want to become a unicorn or just become successful entrepreneurs in their fields. So I definitely feel that we are in a point in time where we could really make some history, not as female founders on our own, but really as women making the next step, and really setting the tone for the next years, and really fostering this topic of equality in so many aspects of life.
And good luck in your platform, in your work, in your I'm sure that you will impact the more women than you plan. And in the last in my last question, and I am asking about that, maybe to giving some like recommendations to our girls, to our females, that what advice would you give to young professional women just starting their professional path?
My advice would be brave. Just be brave, believe in yourself, be confident, and just do things, because there's no point in waiting for something. There's no point in waiting to be asked. You need to take your life into your own hands and just get things done, because you got everything you need. You just need to believe in yourself.
Thank you. It was great being with you in today's FemTalk event. And guys, I hope you also enjoyed from our discussion with Lisa Maria Fassl. And Lisa, thank you for your time. And I know there's some time shortage, and according to that, you also accept our invitation, and you were here, and it was great, like this kind of talk with you. And good luck in your job, in your platform. Guys, it was the last FemTalk from the from the holiday. Tomorrow we have holiday, and have a, let's say, have a nice holiday, and take a rest. After that, after a while, you will also we will also think with you. See you in our next FemTalk event. We will announce about that. See you again. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. All the best.
Bye.